everybody, it's Melanie, and today's random act of kindness comes from both of us. Say hi, Michael.
Hi.
Yay. Anyway, this week's random act of kindness is going to take you back to Japan, to a woman who started out as Michael's student, and her name is Sumiko. So, what school did you meet her in?
She usually came to, all the schools are blending together for me actually. Tennoji School, that was the farthest south. We would go in Osaka, so it was kind of a long train ride. If I'm remembering right, you had to take the Hankyu train to Umeda, and then you could either take Midosuji, which was faster, or take the Osaka Loop Line, which was a little bit cheaper to get to Tennoji Station, but it was still a good half-hour commute. Sumiko came from farther south, though. She might have lived across the border in Wakayama Prefecture.
I just remember it took forever to get to her place when we went. So Sumiko was your student at first, and then she invited us to go hiking. That was the first thing we did, right?
Yeah, well, she and I had talked about some other things before. Her son had a house that was infested with, if I'm not mistaken, powder post beetles. And she and I had talked. It's interesting. We had 5 levels of student, and the highest level student counted down from 5 to 1. So the highest level 1 students were usually more interesting and more diverse than the others. In the middle levels, you had a lot of either talented high school students or businessmen or something like that. But level 1 students usually had some reason that they were better than the other students, and there weren't a lot of them. And because you group students together by skill level, a lot of times the level 1 and 2 students you would have alone just because there was nobody else on their level in the lessons.
And so Sumiko was one of those special students.
Yeah, so she was one of our level 1 students. So usually I'd either be only with her or with her and maybe one other student. So we had the opportunity to talk about more things because we didn't really need to do a lesson so much. So at one point she knew, because I told her about my experience working in the urban entomology program at University of Tennessee, that I knew about bugs. So she got me to correspond with a couple of professors I knew about the beetle infestation her son had, because his house was built with some imported Canadian wood, if I'm remembering right. And she thought there's a possibility that the beetles might be North American insects that had come with the wood to eat his house. And unfortunately, we couldn't definitively prove that. But I think maybe that was the first time I met with Sumiko outside of class, was going to look at her son's house.
Okay.
And it's kind of a shame. She could have become our landlord at that point. She was looking to rent it out, and it was a really nice house, much bigger than we had and cheaper, but pretty far away, and we were really into living downtown.
Forgot what I was going to say. Right out the head. There it went. So the mountain that we did go hiking on, that's the first time that I met Sumiko. Do you remember the name of that mountain?
Yeah, it was Mount Kongo.
I just call it Sumiko's mountain because, man, does she know how to hike that mountain. So she took us hiking, she took us to a museum, and I think those were the first 2 experiences I had in meeting Sumiko. So here are some pictures from those experiences. Over the years, we have kept in touch with Sumiko through Christmas cards and New Year's cards and exchanging pictures. This is Sumiko with a group of her friends in front of a Shinto shrine. And this next picture is her hometown, the city of Onomichi in Hiroshima. So Sumiko invited us into her life, and one of the things she invited us to do was to go hiking. This is Sumiko's mountain. This was her exercise. This is what she did. You can tell it's quite a steep mountain. It wasn't an easy climb. Sumiko's up there in the lead, and Michael's doing pretty good, but I actually had a little bit of a hard time keeping up with the two of them. But Sumiko, she just charged right up the side of the mountain. Evidently very good exercise. We did stop and take a few pictures. Here's Sumiko taking a picture of us, and we are standing in front of this beautiful waterfall in one of the pictures. I know this is not the best picture of me. Please don't judge. We did make it to the top, even me, and there was an amazing view at the top and a restaurant, and then we hiked down. The hike down was not easy. As you can tell, it is hiking down a riverbed that still has water in it. I actually dropped and cracked my camera screen here. Not only did Sumiko want to share Japan's natural beauty, she also wanted to share its rich cultural history with us. So she took us to the Chikatsu Asuka Museum, where we looked at old pottery and statues. We saw armor from old warriors and even some very fascinating old tombs outside on the walk to the museum. Okay, so not only did Sumiko take us to like museums and hiking, she also took us out to eat. She invited us into her home and made tea for us, which is a huge, huge deal in Japan. People don't go to each other's houses very often, so it was quite an honor to be invited to her house, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. She has a pretty nice house too. Very typically Japanese suburban, I think.
She has, well, not just her, but like her area has what they call a community garden, and she has her own little plot within this huge garden. And she took us out to the garden, and she gave us vegetables, and she made sure that we had some to take home with us, and it was really nice of her.
Yeah, she gave us the most powerful onions I think we've ever seen. First of all, most Japanese vegetables are huge. Onions were like this. And so, I mean, we'd make fajitas or something, we'd use half an onion because that was more than enough for two of us for 2 or 3 meals probably of food. And Melanie would have to leave the room when I was chopping them because they would,
Tears.
Yeah, your eyes would just fall out of your head.
You need goggles for these onions. My favorite, of course, was the edamame. And not only did she give us some vegetables that day, but like when she would come and have a lesson with Michael, after that she would just kind of bring vegetables in a big bag and like send them home with Michael. I don't know if you know Sumiko, but we sort of think of you as our Japanese grandmother, and we're so grateful to have met you and for you to have been part of our experience in Japan. You made us feel so welcome, and you made us feel like family.
And I still have the habit of eating Kasugai coffee candy after you sent us some a couple years ago.
That is the strongest coffee candy in the world. Here, I'll show you guys a picture. Well, I think that's all for this video. Remember, if you have a random act of love or kindness that you would like to share, if you'd like to give a shout out to someone who has done something kind for you or someone else, please write me an email. Send it to ShiveringShimmy@gmail.com. Please put random acts in the subject line so I know what you're writing in for, and I'll try to get those shared. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/ShiveringShimmy. Also on Twitter and Instagram, where I'm ShiveringShimmy as well. Any last thoughts about Sumiko?
I don't know. We still do Christmas cards and occasional emails, and we'll definitely look for her the next time we go back to Japan.
Oh, definitely. We can't go to Japan without finding Sumiko.
I think we'll have to call ahead because I can't find that house on foot.
We'll find it. We'll get there. Sumiko, we're coming sometime. Just watch out for us. That's all for us. See you next time. Bye.